Hello and welcome to For You. I'm Reese.
I'm Elsie.
And we're here today talking about something that I love, cartoons.
Cartoons. What's your favorite cartoon?
My favorite cartoon, I loved The Simpsons when I was growing up. And I know that The Simpsons is a cartoon that's for adults and for kids.
Right.
I loved it both as a kid and as an adult. Probably other than that, I would say SpongeBob SquarePants. I just think he's so funny and I love Patrick Star. He's crazy and silly, kind of like me.
I like the snail, Gary.
Gary, meow.
Meow.
Yeah, it sounds like a cat. Is SpongeBob big in Taiwan?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's called 海绵宝宝, right?
Right.
Yeah.
海绵宝宝住在深海的大凤梨里.
Such a cute name. How about you? Which cartoons did you like?
Now I like American Dad and Family Guy.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely for adults.
Right, but when I was a child, I liked Sailor Moon, Detective Conan, Crayon 信长.
Oh, 蜡笔小新.
蜡笔小新, they're all Japanese cartoons.
Yeah, he's so funny. Like when he gets his butt out and shakes it around. He's such a naughty boy.
He is. So some parents don't allow their children to watch Crayon 信长 here.
Really? Even Crayon? Yeah, I guess maybe he's teaching young boys to kind of misbehave.
To show their bum bum.
Yeah, well, don't do that, please. Don't copy everything that you see on TV. Well, today we're talking about a British cartoon, and the article is called The Peppa Effect, How Peppa Pig Might Be Changing Accents. So if you're not familiar, Peppa Pig is a famous cartoon about a pig, and it's from England, which is where I'm from, and it's very, very popular. Let's see how Peppa Pig is maybe influencing a generation of English speakers.
Reading. The Peppa Effect. How Peppa Pig Might Be Changing Accents. British cartoon Peppa Pig has long been a favorite for children. For over 16 years, the pretty pink pig has been lighting up kids' TVs and their hearts across the world. Now, Peppa Pig seems to be affecting something else too. Due to the global COVID-19 pandemic, Peppa Pig has seen record audience figures. Kids are spending more time watching the show than ever before. As a result, parents all over the US have noticed their kids starting to speak with a British accent. In addition, the phenomenon called the Peppa Effect seems to be influencing American kids to use British word variants. For example, they might say holiday instead of vacation or petrol instead of gas. Some people are doubtful of the Peppa effect, though. Dr. Susanna Levy from New York University says she doesn't believe children develop accents by watching. They tend to pick up accents by interacting with people around them. However, there's no denying that many parents claim the Peppa effect to be true.
So the article begins by saying that British cartoon Peppa Pig has long been a favorite for children.
Right, 所以呢，刚刚 Reese 有说到啊，这个卡通佩佩猪它是英国的卡通，所以我们看到一个形容词 British， 意思就是英国的，所以英国卡通佩佩猪一直都是孩子们的最爱。那我们这边看到 favorite， 它是一个比较特别的用法哦。以前我们学过的 favorite， 它都是形容词，代表最喜爱的，像是 What's your favorite cartoon？ 你最喜爱的卡通是什么？不过这边呢 favorite 它是一个名词，代表是呢最喜爱的东西。还有呢，我们看到的has long been a favorite， 它用的是现在完成式，表示从过去到现在一直都是如此，大家都很爱佩佩猪。So when was Peppa Pig created, Reese?
Well, Peppa Pig, the show, I think is going to be older than some of our listeners. The article explains for over 16 years, the pretty pink pig has been lighting up kids' TVs and their hearts across the world. Now, Peppa Pig seems to be affecting something else, too. Well, before we find out what it's affecting, let's talk about this interesting phrase, light up. We often use this phrase just to mean something is on the TV, but it can also be used to mean to become or to make something become bright with light or with color. We can also say if somebody's eyes or face light up, or if something lights them up, they're showing happiness or excitement. Whenever I see your face, Elsie, I light up.
Oh, thank you so much. 再来呢，我们看到的 light something up 或是 light up something 代表就是照亮使高兴。那课文这边说到的是呢 The pretty pink pig has been lighting up kids TVs 代表佩佩猪呢这部卡通16年来一直在电视上播映，就像点亮了他们的电视机一样。好，你可以这么去想象它，同时呢也照亮了世界各地孩子们的心。
Well, the article explains more about Peppa Pig today. It says, due to the global COVID-19 pandemic, Peppa Pig has seen record audience figures. Okay, we've got many words to discuss here. The first one is the word pandemic, which we might all be familiar with given the current state of the world. A pandemic is a disease or a virus that affects the whole world.We have another word, epidemic, which is a local infection. So if there is a disease that's only in Taiwan and nowhere else, that's called an epidemic. But if it escapes Taiwan and infects everybody in different countries, that's a pandemic. And COVID-19 is a pandemic.Pandemic
代表就是呢全球的大流行病，那如果是地区性的流行病呢，我们会用 epidemic 来说。那再来呢，我们在句首看到 due to 代表的是因为由于，那它是一个介系词片语，所以后面记得我们只能够加上名词或 VING。那因为呢全球大流行病 COVID-19 Peppa Pig has seen record audience figures. What does audience mean?Well,
audience is you, the people listening to us speak now. You are the audience. Audience is a noun, and the audience are the people who watch or listen to something, like a TV show, a live concert, or the radio. You guys listening right now are our audience because you're listening to us.The article talks about the audience in terms of the total number of people watching the show.Here's an example sentence for audience. The Olympic Games are broadcast to audiences all over the world.
Audience 这个字呢代表观众听众，那它是一个集合名词哦，要特别注意。所以如果是一群观众听众的话呢，我们可以说 an audience。那如果你看到它用复数形 audiences， 那代表的是多群的观众跟听众。So this cartoon has seen record audience figures.Figures
is another word to discuss. It's a noun, and figures really just means numbers. Figures are usually numbers that are part of statistics, which is information in the form of numbers. We use figures in finance when talking about money or how much money a company makes. Audience figures are the number of people watching the show. Here's an example sentence.Facebook's new figures show that less and less people are using the website.
Figure 这个名词呢，它是数字、数据，好，是我们本课课文使用的意思。那课文中指到的Audience figures 代表就是佩佩猪的观众数量。观众数量怎么了呢？我们看到前面有一个形容词是 record， 这边呢当形容词用，代表是创纪录的。也就是说啊，佩佩猪创下前所未有的观众数量。So many people are watching the cartoon.So
by saying that during the COVID-19 pandemic there are record audience figures, that means that there are more people watching Peppa Pig now than ever before. And that's probably because people are spending more time at home with their kids and their families, and watching Peppa Pig is just something to do together. Well, the article tells more. It says, kids are spending more time watching the show than ever before.As a result, parents all over the US have noticed their kids starting to speak with a British accent.
Interesting.
This makes me so pleased.
Yeah, you must be really happy about it, huh?
I feel like the British accent gets overlooked sometimes. I meet most of my Taiwanese friends who studied English, and they speak with an American accent because American English is the standard. Well, what is an accent anyway? An accent is the way that somebody speaks. An accent is not a language, but instead it's a way of speaking a language. For example, English has many different accents, including British English, which is kind of what I speak, American English, Australian English, and even Canadian English. People who speak the same language but have different accents use the same words, but they say them in different ways. So in British English, C-A-R is pronounced car, whereas in American English it would be car. Slightly different accents. And even Taiwan and China have different accents when speaking Chinese, right?
True. 那 accent 这个字呢，代表是口音腔调，所以这边说孩子们开始怎么样呢 ？Speak with the British accent， 那就是说话的时候带有英国口音。Reese, to be honest with you, I like British accent more than American accent.
That's the correct answer.
那再来呢，我们看到因为孩子们花更多的时间看佩佩猪卡通，所以美国的父母亲就注意到孩子说话的时候呢，有英国的口音出现。As a result 代表的是因此，所以会带出结果，像是呢，我们可以说 She was always late for work. As a result, she got fired. 那这边呢，我们是把As a result 放在句首，那如果你要把它放在句中的时候记得你前面必须要放的是分号哦，因为呢 as a result 它没有连接词的功能，所以你需要放上分号才可以帮助连接两个子句，像是呢我们可以说 She was always late for work， 分号放上去，然后再接上 as a result she got fired。So
when I say I'm happy that Americans are speaking British accents, I'm joking, of course. Whatever accent you speak is fine. The point of language and communication is to be understood. So whichever accent you have learned, be proud of it. I just happen to speak with a British accent because that's where I was born and where I spent most of my childhood. Well, back to the article, and it tells us more about the Peppa Pig effect. In addition, the phenomenon called the Peppa effect seems to be influencing American kids to use British word variants. So not only is their accent changing, but also their vocabulary. There are some words that we use in British English that they don't use in the US, and so now American kids are starting to use them too. The article used the word phenomenon, which is quite the tongue twister to say. A phenomenon is a thing that happens, or an example of something that exists. That sounds very vague, so let's explain more. We often use the word phenomenon when we're discussing something that people might disagree about, in terms of whether or not it actually exists. So, for example, UFOs or Bigfoot or ghosts are all things that we might describe as phenomenon, because people disagree about their reality. The Peppa effect is something that may or may not exist. People could argue about it, so we can call it a phenomenon.
Phenomenon 这个字呢，代表的就是现象。那它是一个单数名词，复数的时候怎么办呢？字尾会做一些变化，会变成 phenomena， 所以会变成 na 结尾的。那再来呢，我们说到this phenomenon we're talking about here is called Peppa effect.Yeah,
Peppa as in Peppa Pig and effect. To understand more about this, let's talk about the word effect. Effect, spelt with an E at the beginning, is a noun, and an effect is a change which is a result or consequence of an action or other cause. What does that mean? Well, basically, an effect is the way something changes because of something else. The weather can have an effect on the temperature. The temperature changes because of the weather. Peppa effect would be something the way that the TV show Peppa Pig changes people in some way. The effect is how American kids use British words. The verb form of effect is affect with an A. Here's an example sentence. Drinking alcohol can have a negative effect on your body.Effect
这个名词呢，代表效应跟影响。那我们常见的用法是 have a positive or a negative effect on something， 那就是对某事有正面或是负面的影响。所以例句刚刚呢 Reese 说到的是喝酒会对身体造成不良的影响。那当我们看到have the effect of doing something， 代表的是造成某影响，像是呢 The skincare product has the effect of making your skin smooth 代表这个美容产品可以让你的皮肤变得光滑。那动词的影响我们可以用 affect 这个字哦，它是一个及物动词，所以你后面直接加上受词就好了。怎么拼呢？它是 affect. So for example, the weather affects our mood. 天气会影响我们的心情。Okay, back to the article. The Peppa effect seems to be influencing American kids.
Yeah, influencing. Influence is a verb, and to influence means, to use the previous vocabulary word, to have an effect on something, to try to change something. If you influence a person, you change the way they think or the decision that they make. If a thing influences you, it changes something about you. We often use this word to talk about how something can change the way you think, act, or the opinions that you have. Peppa Pig is influencing American kids by changing the way that they speak. Here's an example sentence. My music taste was influenced by my parents. I like all the songs they listened to when I was younger.Influence 在这边当作动词使用，代表的也是影响，可是呢跟 affect 有什么不一样？当你用 influence 的时候呢，它偏向对个人意见或是行为的影响。那当我们用 influence somebody to do something 的时候，代表的是影响某人去做出某个行为。所以佩佩猪效应呢，影响美国孩童使用英式英语。And we also see the word variant.Yeah, variant is a form of a thing that is different from other things of the same type. A variant may evolve from one thing. The variants are similar to the original thing, but have some differences. For example, COVID-19 has variants like Delta or Delta Plus because the virus mutates and changes.We can use variant for other things too. The new Pokemon game has two variants, or we could say versions, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. They're mostly the same game with just a few differences. The word variant can also be used to talk about different accents and spellings. So, for example, the word color in British English is C-O-L-O-U-R, but in American English it's C-O-L-O-R. These are two different variants of the same word.
所以呢 variant 这个名词代表的是同一个词的异体、异拼或异读，好，那就是不一样的形式。那刚刚 Reese 举了一个例子，就是呢美式英语当中的 color C-O-L-O-R 在英式英语当中多了一个 U， 好，要拼进去。还有像是字尾，有的时候我们看到美式英语是 Z-E 结尾的，英式英语当中就会变成 S-E， 像是 organize 还有 organize。Right? They're different.
Yeah, we spell them slightly differently, although they sound pretty much the same.
还有就是用词上的差异哦，像美式英语当中我们说的 pants 长裤，在英式英语里面是 Reese?
Trousers.
好，再来 back to the article. What does it say?
Well, back to the article, it says, for example, they might say holiday instead of vacation, or petrol instead of gas. Yeah.In the UK, we don't really use the word vacation. We just say holiday. I'm going on holiday to Spain or to Italy. And we don't say gas stations, we say petrol stations. The word petrol comes from petroleum, which is the name of the gas. Well, back to the article, and it says, some people are doubtful of the Peppa effect, though.So that means that some people do not believe the Peppa effect is real. The article used the word doubtful here, which is an adjective. Doubtful is somebody who is not sure or certain that something is true. If you are doubtful, you don't believe something to be true, or maybe you're not sure if it's correct.If people are doubtful of the Peppa effect, that means they don't really believe that it's a real thing.Here's an example sentence. I'm doubtful the swimming pool will be open today. It's still raining pretty hard.
Doubtful 这个形容词呢是怀疑的、有疑虑的，所以有些人是不相信佩佩猪效应的存在。
The article continues and it says, Dr. Susanna Levy from New York University says she doesn't believe children develop accents by watching. They tend to pick up accents by interacting with people around them. So she thinks that the pepper effect is not real.
没错，这个来自纽约大学的博士呢，他表示他不相信孩子们能够借由看卡通来发展出不同的口音。这边用到 tend to， 后面加上原形动词，代表倾向于、往往会。所以他认为孩子倾向于借由与身边其他人的互动而学到新的口音。那这边的学到，我们用的是 pick something up， 或者是 pick up something 也是可以的。And then we also saw the word interact.Yeah,
so picking up accents by interacting with people. To interact, it's a verb, and it means to act in a way that means you have an effect on the person or thing that you're with, and they have an effect on you too. Talking is a way of interacting. Touching something is a way of interacting too.To interact with something, you must do something to it, whether that's touch it, eat it, or play with it. You can interact with people in many ways, by talking, having fun, laughing, touching. These are all different ways of interacting.
那当我们说 interact with somebody 的时候呢，代表就是与人互动或是交流。
The article continues, it says, however, there's no denying that many parents claim the Peppa effect to be true. Right, so even though this scientist disagrees, some parents are saying, well, I've noticed a change in my kid.
没错，所以当我们看到 there's no 后面加上 VING 的时候呢，表达的是不可能或是无法。它用来强调句中动词所表达的动作呢，或是想法是不可能发生的。那后方常常接上 that 引导的名词子句，或者是 WH 疑问词所引导的名词子句。那句型中呢，常搭配的动词有 deny、tell、know、say、argue、explain， 还有 predict 等等的字。那课文说到的是不可否认的是，很多父母断言佩佩猪效应是真的。那再给同学们一个例句哦。For example, he has so many creative ideas. There's no telling what he'll do next. 代表实在没有办法判断他下一步会做什么。那还有一个，当我们看到 there is no VING 的时候，还会解释为不准或是禁止哦。像是呢 there is no eating in my bedroom, said my sister， 代表我的房间是不准吃东西的。我姐姐这么说。
The last vocabulary word for today is the verb claim. To claim means to say something that's true, but usually without evidence or proof. If you claim something, you're saying it is so, but you aren't able to give people evidence to believe it fully. If you can provide evidence, then you're not really claiming, you're explaining. Here's an example sentence with claim. Sam claimed that he saw a UFO in the sky last night, but I don't believe him.Claim 这个动词呢，就是声称或是断言。那当我们看到主词 claim that 加上子句的时候，代表某人声称断言某件事。那当我们看到 claim something to be something else， 那代表就是声称某物是点点点的。So many parents claim the Peppa effect to be true.Right, so maybe they don't have so much evidence that can prove it 100%, but they're saying that they've seen some changes enough to make it believable.Well, that's the end of the article about the Peppa Pig effect. I think it sounds super interesting. I am pleased that Peppa Pig is making it around the world and British culture is going with it. Let's go to our For You chat question to wrap things up.
For You chat.So,
Elsie, as a learner of English, what do you think influences your accent when speaking English?
Of course, my mother tongue, Mandarin Chinese, influences my accent, and all the American movies and songs have influenced my accent a lot.
Yeah, you have more of an American way of speaking than British.
Right.
I think that's because, so much media, like movies and music, is from the States, and there's not so much from the UK that makes it abroad.
Right, and a lot of teachers in Taiwan have American accent.
It's true. Although my accent has changed over the years. I've been living in Asia for 10 years now, so I've developed a slight American accent to my way of speaking because I'm not surrounded by British people anymore. I'm mostly surrounded by people who speak either Mandarin, Chinese, or American English. Well, whatever you speak, be proud and speak it loud. And all accents are beautiful.So
right.
You guys can think about this question too. What do you think influences your accent when speaking English? But that's all we have for now. Go watch Peppa Pig and have some fun.
Vocabulary Review
Audience. The singer got up on stage to sing a popular song, and the audience sang along with her. Figure. I'm not very good at math, but my sister is great with figures. Effect. The disease spread around the world and had a big effect on the industries of many countries. Influence. The music I listen to influences my mood and emotions. For example, I get excited when I listen to rock music. Doubtful. Steve said he would be here tonight, but I'm doubtful that he'll actually come. Claim. Marty claims that his uncle is a famous actor, but no one believes him because he often makes up stories.
字汇小补帖
Pandemic. Accent. Phenomenon. Phenomenon. Variant. Interact.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net